To most beginners, crypto looks unstable. Prices move too much. Headlines sound alarming. And people keep saying this could collapse any day. So a natural question follows. If this looks so unstable, why hasn't it collapsed yet? This question matters more than it seems, because it reveals how we define stability. Most of us were trained to believe that stable systems look calm, slow changes, predictable behavior, no visible stress. When something moves too much, we instinctively assume that something must be wrong. Think about the systems you trust most. Banks feel stable. Your account balance barely moves. Nothing dramatic happens day to day. That calmness feels reassuring. But calmness is not the same as strength. In many cases, it is simply the result of control. Traditional systems achieve stability by suppressing movement. Central authorities intervene. Institutions delay reactions. Consequences are postponed. Problems do not disappear. They accumulate quietly. Everything looks fine until pressure becomes too large to contain. History is full of examples like this. Markets that looked perfectly stable for years. Currencies that barely moved until they collapsed overnight. Institutions that appeared solid until one event exposed how fragile they really were. Calm surfaces often hide growing structural weakness. Now compare that to crypto. Crypto never looks calm. Prices react immediately. Opinions shift constantly. Anyone can enter. Anyone can exit. There is no gatekeeper to smooth the movement. To new observers, this looks chaotic, even reckless. But chaos on the surface does not automatically mean weakness underneath. Think about nature. A quiet lake can dry up without warning. A calm forest can collapse after a single disease. Meanwhile, the ocean looks violent every day. Waves crash, storms pass, currents collide. Yet the ocean is one of the most stable systems on Earth. The ocean survives because it releases energy constantly. Nothing is stored. Nothing is hidden. Nothing builds up silently. Movement is not fragility. Sometimes movement is exactly what prevents collapse. Crypto behaves much more like the ocean. Stress is released immediately through price and participation. When confidence drops, price reflects it instantly. When confidence returns, price reflects that too. This constant exposure feels uncomfortable, especially to beginners. But discomfort is not the same as danger. Most historical crypto crashes did not break the system itself. Bitcoin kept producing blocks. Ethereum kept settling transactions. What failed were companies, exchanges, human organizations built on top. The base layer kept running, unchanged. Just like a power grid continues working even if individual factories shut down. This is the first critical distinction. Surface instability versus structural instability. Crypto is extremely unstable on the surface, but structurally it changes very slowly. Rules do not update overnight. Supply schedules do not bend to panic. Transactions follow the same logic every single day. Fast surface, slow foundation. That contrast is not accidental, it is intentional. Now let's talk about how this feels to an actual person. Imagine this is your first cycle. You open a chart. Prices drop fast. Social media fills with panic. Headlines repeat the same word. Collapse. Your instinct is not analytical, it is emotional. This feels wrong. This feels dangerous. This can't be normal. That reaction is completely human, because most of us learned that danger is quiet until it isn't. We learn to trust systems that look calm, so when something shows stress openly, our brain reads it as a warning sign. Now let's address the harder questions people rarely say out loud. If this system is so resilient, why do so many people lose money? If this is stable, why are scams everywhere? If this works, why does it feel so unforgiving? These are fair questions, and the uncomfortable answer is this. Crypto is structurally resilient but personally demanding. It does not protect you from bad timing, from poor risk management, from emotional decisions. Traditional systems cushion mistakes. Losses are delayed, risks are hidden, consequences are softened. Crypto does the opposite. It exposes mistakes immediately. That does not make the system weak. It makes participation honest. This is why many people experience crypto as painful before they understand it. The system does not collapse, but individual strategies do. The structure survives while participants learn, often the hard way. This is also why scams feel louder here. Open systems attract experimentation. They also attract abuse. The presence of fraud is not proof of structural failure. It is proof that access is open, not permissioned. Crypto does not promise safety. It promises rules. And those rules apply equally, even when the outcome is uncomfortable. So why hasn't crypto collapsed? Because instability in price is not the same as instability in structure. The surface moves fast. The foundation moves slowly. Once you separate those two, the fear becomes understandable but no longer paralyzing. Here is the perspective shift most people never get to. After you see this distinction, you start watching the market differently. A crash no longer feels like the end. It feels like stress being released. You stop asking, why is this so volatile? And start asking, how does it handle stress? Crypto looks unstable because it refuses to hide reality. It shows disagreement, it shows fear, it shows emotion. But the structure underneath is built to survive exactly that. When you stop judging crypto by how calm it looks and start judging it by how it responds to pressure, it stops looking fragile and starts looking resilient. If something looks unstable, ask yourself one question. Is the instability on the surface or in the structure underneath?